OKC is just too much of a complete team. They have every facet of a team in basketball that you need. They got a dominant center that nowadays can shoot and pop for the three. They got a great point guard. They got it good. My point is though, is we need a big man right down in that paint. We need we need a Giannis, right? But we need a big man down in that paint to replace LeBron James. In my opinion, that's what's holding us back the most is LeBron James. It's not that he's not a great player. It's just that he's not as dominant as he used to be. And he's one of the biggest guys on our team. And we need a dominant big man in order to compete against these other teams who can not just move back and forth up and down the court, but has the strength and stamina to last. Uh, at least, like 16 to 20 minutes, right? Should be the time for an average center or power forward to make a point. And LeBron James can do that still, but he's not doing it as consistently as he used to 5 years ago or 10 years ago, right? Let alone 20 years ago, right? The guy's been balling for so long. So I think if we got somebody in there who can be a good asset to a Luka and an Austin Reeves as far as a big man, we'll be right back in the finals, right? If we could get somebody like a Giannis to take over, or even like I would think of Scotty Barnes, but even then we would need like a bigger center to back him up. We need one of those super dominant power forwards that could play center position. And if you have to, you could drop him down to a small forward, right? Even if we had this somebody who was the same as LeBron James, just 15 years younger, right? Or even 10 years younger. And we'll be right back in it, right? If we had a Pablo Banchero, right? Laker fans, can you imagine if we had Austin Reeves, Luka Doncic, and Pablo Banchero, right? And then you could just throw any other center out there, right? Like with a Holmgren, somehow we get Holmgren for like, like, I don't know. You get where I'm going though, right? Like we need to start looking for that replacement for LeBron. And I love LeBron, but for the generation that he came from, he really is the last big man, right? To like play his position. I think that's why LeBron James has been so dominant in the NBA was because he came from the last generation of if you played a big position, you had to be a big, strong guy, right? So when LeBron James goes against these teams where he's the biggest guy on the court and he's playing at a small forward position, that's weird sometimes, right? Because you think of back in like the 90s, right? Like LeBron James would have been an average size for a small forward or a power forward. All right, he might have been a little bit more muscular, but he's fitting in there right alongside with the Robert Ory's and the Kevin Garnett's, and like, can you imagine LeBron James trying to go and defend a Kevin Garnett or get past a Kevin Garnett? Like I couldn't see that, or like Kenyon Martin, right? It's just Kendrick Perkins, right? A generation of big meaty dudes down there, not letting dudes just do whatever they want, right? And LeBron James got in the generation after that. And because of that, he's been so dominant and he's been able to dominate for a long time because he hasn't had too many challenges of people bigger than him putting him in his place and checking him, right? Like, I don't think that LeBron James had too many matchups defensively that would like really push him, right? Offensively, there's been tons of matchups, right? Like LeBron James's greatest comparison could probably be with Carmelo Anthony, right? Like they came in at the same time. They both had the biggest hype at the time, or maybe even a D Wade at that time too, right? But if you were to put Carmelo Anthony up against LeBron James, it wouldn't be like a defensive battle, right? Like it would be between like a MJ and a Kobe, even though they were different generations. It would be an offensive game, right? Who's scoring the most points, Carmelo Anthony or LeBron James, right? And so that's what I mean when I say like LeBron James is great. I don't think he's a GOAT though because he's one of the bigger players and there aren't too many people as big as him, right? I guess I'm just one of those old heads that's like, if you put him back in the generations where we were watching, because he's just a couple years younger than I am, all right? Like he's 41, I'm 43, about to be 44, so we're the same generation, right? Like we've been watching the same guys who were banging it out when we were coming up in high school. He saw Kendrick Perkins out there putting it down, and the Kevin Garnett's, he probably tried to emulate that to an extent, right? And he took that size and he's dominated for 20 years, right? And he is the king of this generation, but in my opinion, he's not the GOAT. If he were the GOAT, he'd figure out a way to beat the Oklahoma City Thunder. So this is the greatest test for LeBron James to cement his legacy as a GOAT.